Hello and welcome back to Planet Stronghold Colonial Defence. Right, let's see if this actually continues the romance track. Things must be getting serious between your brother and Mira. Is someone a bit green with envy? Although the colour certainly suits her. Charlotte looks good in almost everything she wears. And out of everything? The captain doesn't have anything to judge by yet, Mario. That's where an active imagination is an immense help. Yeah, things seem to be going really well with Alex and Mira. Why do you ask? Nothing important. He just came to me and asked for some advice about flowers. He was thinking of getting her a dozen roses. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I never got the point of giving flowers. Well, they're beautiful. Giving them as a gift shows you feel the same way about that person. Well, I get that part of it, but can you achieve the same thing with a good meal or a beautiful necklace? Do you happen to have any gold chains in your closet, Mario? No. Why? You're missing some links for your handcuffs. No, what I mean is, what other gifts do you give someone only to have it die? Actually, that's a very good point. I mean, if you got a pet and it didn't make it after a few days, you'd be demanding a refund if nothing else. You haven't had a pet goldfish before. We won some at the carnival as kids and didn't realise that even the temperature could kill them. That's an interesting point, Mario. But I would point out those blooms and stems are just clippings, do a little harm to the plant itself. So, did Mira like the flowers? From what I gather, yes. But it probably helps that I recommended he go with something different. Not a fan of roses, Charlotte, that's a bit surprising. I love roses just fine, but giving them as a gift's a bit uninspired. No, he gave her a bouquet of violets and pink carnations. That seems to be an interesting combination. Why did you recommend that? For the meanings of the flower? I figured Mira would pick up on it. Pink carnations mean Alex will always remember her, and violets means faithful love. Of course it helps that violet's one of the national flowers of Greece. They have more than one. Oh, there are laurel branches, much like the winners of the Olympic Games would wear, and cyclamen. I'm glad I didn't suggest that. I take it they have a more sinister meaning. Some say they mean indifference. Mira wouldn't exactly put up with being ignored, as well as a form of goodbye. Sounds like a breakup flower. Goodbye as in funerals? It's a very wise decision to leave them out then. So, using flowers as a secret communication. Interesting. I wonder if our diplomats are doing that. Well, in other times it was used to convey a message without having to blurt it out. However, how secret could it be? I imagine a good number of people know what they meant, otherwise what would be the point? Well, that probably is the point. Of course everyone knew what it meant, but it also allowed them a chance to flirt or whatever without being so crass as to comment upon it. You seem to be rather knowledgeable about this. Please, it's not much that different than wearing masks during masquerade balls. How many sexual liaisons were carried out, but people could say they didn't know who it was in disguise. Indeed, subtlety was considered a greatly desired virtue. Although certainly there were other ways of giving a message. Perhaps. Some people said how a lady would hold a fan, or how a parasol was positioned could also carry meaning. Not to mention, they could be held seductively. Imagine Charlotte nibbling the end of her fan and then rapidly fanning her bodice. Charlotte momentarily strikes a pose, emphasizing her breasts as she leans backwards, gives you a flirtatious look. Head games, all of it. Hell, even smoke signals would be more straightforward. If a little impractical, there aren't many trees in this part of Stronghold. Do what the Dradens do then. Use animal dung. I foresee one problem with that. It's about as subtle as a knife to the face. Not to mention it works best outside, but a strong wind could garble your message. So a simple I love you could become I declare your face is yellow. Sounds like the stuff tragedies are made of. Captain, if you don't mind, I have something I want to show you as well, just around the corner. Going to examine Charlotte's bush. Trim her hedges. Charlotte starts to blush, but she smiles as she wraps her hand into the crook of your arm. That's enough, you two. Keep it going and... oh, let them have their fun. This won't take long. Very well. All I see is several fresh mounds. If you're looking to bury those two, the holes are going to have to be bigger. No, silly. I wasn't sure what you would like, at least what you didn't have, so I planted some seeds for you, for us. And when, like our love, shall they take root and blossom? That's one way to put it. I hope you don't mind, but I planted honeysuckle and lily. I'm afraid I'm showing my ignorance here by not knowing their meaning. Who says they have any meaning? Look, I might be dense at sometimes, but I'm not that dense. Otherwise our talk, however delightful it was, would not have served any purpose. Very true. The lily represents grace and beauty. I don't know if I could be called graceful. And you haven't seen yourself on the battlefield? Honeysuckle, well, it's about the bonds of love. Is there anything you wish to contribute? I love that. Well, semi-romantic, fairly romantic. Interesting for definition of romantic. Bugger this. Let's go for a symbolic act. Well, let us tend this garden carefully and well. Maybe we should water it together. That would be nice. I'd like that a lot. Did I say something amusing? No, but I just thought of your reaction if I suggested that we fertilise it together. Better get back to the others before they start thinking that I let you visit my garden of delights. Well, that is a heck of a line, isn't it? So we've now got 2 hearts. So we've got... So yeah, we've got 3 more NPC missions, so let's do this invasion one. Get a turret up. Turret's going to take a lot of fire, isn't it? Let's get a second turret up. And deploy a battle drone and a marksman team. There's that turret. Sharpshooter, deploy. You've got the force field to take advantage of it. Okay, assault infantry, deploy. Everyone with a shot, take it. Grenadier unit, go. It's a really good thing to have as a grenadier. Alright, anyone who's infiltrated, take the shot. Nicely done, everyone. Alright, back to team talk. The more I hear about psionics, I can't help but think whether they're more liability than benefit. That's a bit strong, Mario, unless paranoia is unbecoming. And not to mention causes unnecessary wrinkles. At least Mario has the courage to say what he's thinking. It's a welcome relief from people who put on a pleasant face and think the most vile thoughts. Sometimes make me wish there was some kind of brain bleach. Despite what everyone else may think, I don't have any personal issues with you, Griselia. I know, but it doesn't make us closer to being friends since you're afraid of what I'm doing in your head. There is something to bear in mind. Someone can read your thoughts. Wouldn't it make sense to be on their good side? Especially if they can do something about it? Great. It's just like grade school all over again. I swear the teacher knew what I was going to do before I did it. Hell, I just get tired hearing about the psionic apocalypse and how they'll make slaves of us all. It's the same nonsense people spouted about a robot apocalypse. Actually, you're one of the few who aren't afraid of me. Of course, maybe the fact that being near you gives me a headache might have something to do with it. That's the thing. Psionics is something we can study. Sure, we don't know all the parameters yet, but it isn't like it's some mystic mumbo-jumbo. I'm surprised with some of the problems you've had they haven't tried drugs to help you. What makes you think they haven't? Huh? I was a child with unknown and chaotic powers. Of course they drugged me. Sadly, when you're taking military research, they usually skirt what's considered ethical standards. That's rich coming from you. I've seen what happens to some of your experiments. The standards are there for a reason. It tells you what you can get away with and what will get you imprisoned. Knowing the military, I'm surprised they didn't train you to be the perfect assassin. Imagine a bomb that could only be triggered by telekinesis. Naturally, they'd want it to be stronger. Oh, there are some chemicals, all highly classified, which amplify my abilities, but with several drawbacks. A psionic strong enough to kill could be paranoid enough to see everyone as an enemy. What about tranquilizers? Don't they work? It depends on the strength of a psionic. Someone normal, it works expected. Someone of Griselia's caliber, well, it frees the mind. After all, if you are no longer cognizant of what's going on, then anything can happen. I know I about burned down the research facility once. I hope you aren't licking toads. Hallucinogens and telepaths don't mix. My visions become everyone's visions. I once had an adverse reaction and the results... Well, some people know what the colour purple sounds like and know the taste of happiness. Sounds like someone would search for a way to block psionics. They tried. As you can guess, it didn't end well. What do you mean? Remember what the captain said about knowing another's motivations? There was a researcher, he had a drug he was sure could stop my powers. He hypothesized a concentrated dose of enhancer that would make my powers strong, that they would burn themselves out. I didn't give him a chance. What happened to him? I didn't kill him if that's what you're asking, but in a panic I managed to wipe his mind. Everything gone. I have him hooked up to a machine somewhere. It would have been more merciful to kill him. Don't take a life lightly, Mario. Although in this case, maybe it would have been for the better. What do you think, Captain? They should never let things get that far. I'd love to see it burn to ashes. You take a distraught child and treat her like a weapon. It's no wonder someone would rebel. And yet, some of those programs have saved the Empire, even if another paid the price for it. I'd like to think when I left, at least it was in better hands. And if nothing else, it taught me discipline. And making the phrase, if looks could kill, literal in your case. This discussion's giving me a headache, Captain. I'm going to get some wine and relax. You get the impression that Griselia had a rather crappy childhood. You damn fool! Can't believe you handcuffed yourself out there. You almost became a living crater. Well, you weren't scheduled to be shooting. I had to do something to stop you. Not to mention your damn artillery caused several cave-ins. You scared the miners shitless. Well, they weren't supposed to be digging there either. You know that area is restricted. There was a deposit which would more than pay for all the ammunition you waste in a year. And how many dens have you destroyed with your grubbing, Christoph? As if there aren't other deposits you could claim. If you love the planet so much, why don't you dig a hole and hump it? At least that would do more good than your constant ravaging for money and ore. And none of that means anything if the aliens overrun us because our soldiers aren't allowed to train. Attention! I trust you will all explain why your commanding officer is mediating your squabble while her mealtime ticks away. Sorry, Captain, I guess things got a little heated here. I was furious over the fact that Galenia and Christoph were devastating a large swathe of ground they had no right to. Captain, Samuel isn't giving you the whole story. This large swathe of ground he's talking about is also prime breeding grounds for giant borer grubs. We regularly use it for target practice. One of my scouts detected several nests for them, so I deployed the artillery to bring them down. And this would be all fine and good, except you were dropping shells down on my miners. It's hard to keep digging when hell is raining in from heaven. They'd use an asbestos umbrella! Laugh if you want to, Galenia, but you know you are in the wrong. Says the man whose miners didn't even have their transponders on like they're supposed to. Or were you trying to get in and out without anyone the wiser? It's starting to come together why Christoph and Galenia are fighting, but what are you doing in the thick of things, Samuel? I was trying to get both parties to stop before someone got hurt, and besides, neither was supposed to be out there today. Seems this land holds some significance to you. I don't hold any personal attachment to it per se, but rather what it could signify. No attachment? Yeah, right, says the man who is willing to play human target. Captain, it happened on old Earth, and it's happening on other colonies as we speak. People arrive to make a new life. Seeing all this land ripe for the taking, displacing or destroying the native flora and fauna. There's more than enough land as it is. For now, yes, but years from now? What I'm suggesting is just that once we create a preserve, a place where the native species can thrive, where future generations can enjoy. What Samuel is not telling you that doing so will cost credits and jobs in the long run, as it will lose access to the richest mineral fields on the planet. And if you listen to Samuel, we'll also create a zone through which any malcontent can approach the academy. We could set up surveillance, and trust me, any person with a faint knowledge of woodcraft would be able to infiltrate a nature preserve without detection. And so you would have it bombed into a pavement? Captain, I'm asking you to make a decision about this land. That's actually a tricky decision. Nature preserve sounds good, but given that 90% of the stuff on this planet wants to kill us, I'm dubious. Either way, I'm at the end of my time for this part, so I will think about it and say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.